Hello indie game fans! March seems like a lifetime ago, but a real great month for indie games. For the last time in a while, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a fantastic game but not indie, so my picks for the top 15 best indie games of the month starts with Iron Danger. This has been one of the most unique games that I've ever come across, with its combination of traditional isometric CRPG with time manipulation elements. As such, every scenario and encounter becomes somewhat of a puzzle-like experience where you need to adjust your tactics on the fly. Add to that an epic story, likeable characters and a beautiful look, and you got yourself a real solid RPG on your hands. More innovative ideas like this, please. As mentioned before, I do love me a good tycoon management game, and Good Company filled that role quite nicely last month. This has you at the helm of a manufacturing company where the sky's the limit. Innovate and develop new products to be the market leader in the field. Adopt robotic automation technologies to be more competitive, and in perhaps a little bit of a jab at Google, try to do good. While the veneer of capitalism begins to fade in our current climate, this game tries to explore the revolutionary aspects of innovation and technology, which should give us more hope for the future. A very nice surprise last month was the early access release of Victory Road, a management game where you play as a boxing coach and need to lead your fighter to become champion, balance training and nutrition in the days leading up to the fight, then corner your fighter by shouting advice or slamming on the mat. The fight itself is indirectly controlled, but there are combos, special moves, a custom fighting game engine, and more as you shape your boxer's fighting style to be truly unique. The most direct comparison would be Punch Club, but I think that this game edges that out just a little since it has more depth, so a great start and hope to see more. As a big fan of both isometric RPGs and pixel art, the look and feel of Fates of Odd did get my attention, and unsurprisingly, turned out pretty well. Play as a mage with the choice of saving or enslaving the world, and despite the look, this is a true turn-based RPG where time stands still when you don't move. There are powerful magical spells to use as well, but in this universe, it does consume some of your HP when used. There's loot and leveling, equipment, cursed items and more. Narrative decisions do also alter the direction that the story goes, so there's some value to replaying this game. Very neat RPG and one for fans of the genre. Roguelite Peggle RPG basically describes Roundguard, which instantly sold me on it, so it is no surprise that it makes this list. This has you choosing one of 3 character classes and delving into a dungeon to save the king and to retrieve his gold. Bounce around to hit the various pods and enemies in the level while managing your health, mana and skills. Fun, character-specific abilities like a spin attack or recovering health when you gain gold add some strategy in what would otherwise be just a physics game with some level of strategy, since you can somewhat control your trajectory. Add in loot and trinkets, permadeath but with progression, and if you know me, checks many of my boxes. A pleasant surprise was the release of Biped, a 2-player co-op action puzzle game. Co-op games inherently have an advantage since your experience is coloured by who you choose to share it with, which, more often than not, is usually a loved one or a friend. So if the game is not terrible, you do tend to have a good time. However, this game surpasses that minimum bar with adorable characters, a pleasant art style and world design, as well as pretty clever co-op puzzles which are great to figure out together. A short and sweet adventure, this one is fun for the whole family. As a fan of Metroidvanias, Record of Ludus War-Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth did get my attention, both due to the visual look with the beautiful pixel art as well as the pedigree, since this developer also made Touhou Luna Nights. While I'm not familiar with the Record of Ludus War series, many of you are, and have given it the thumbs up, so perhaps an entry point into a classic anime series. Deedlit has both a sword and a bow, where the latter is used more in the puzzle sections, with an elemental familiar system to empower your attacks. However, the one knock is that this is still in early access, which is weird for a Metroidvania, and is only a small taste of the final game. But it does seem to be fantastic so far and can't wait for the full release, which is planned in 4 months' time. Just a quick note, if you are new here and enjoyed the video so far, be sure to subscribe and check out the Discord channel while you are at it. Here's to more indie gaming coverage, so back to the video. As mentioned in Sunday's video on Pixel Cross Adventure, my go-to logic or puzzle game is not Sudoku or Tetris, but nonograms or Picross puzzles instead. So I'm very happy that Murder by Numbers got made. This is a visual novel puzzle game hybrid about an actress playing the role of a TV detective actually having to solve a real-life murder. Set in an alternate history version of 1996, for some reason you have a robot buddy with you, and it is off to solve some mysteries. Wonderful art style and interesting character designs by the creator of Hatoful Boyfriend, this really nails the vibe and is a very well made title overall. Think Phoenix Wright but with more nonograms and you get the idea. I'm a sucker for Stardew Valley style farming games and am always on the lookout for the next new one, since I'm interested to see what new ideas, art styles, settings or mechanics that developers can bring into the genre, so I'm very pleased with the existence of Serin Fate. This has you playing as a witch, so it's time to learn some magic, tame a few familiars, make some friends and uncover the mystery at Chimera Castle. While admittedly, it doesn't do that much visually, it is pixel art and it works for the genre, so no complaints here. The familiar aspect is neat since I love monster taming games, and having a little bit of that in a farming sim is always nice. Your skills and activities include gardening, fishing, wood cutting, mining and more, so quite standard, but adds in witchery and brewing potions. There appears to be a central plot and a main villain as well, so a change of pace narratively, but it is still a sandbox type experience with loads to do and discover. Similar to some other titles covered in this video, this is still in early access, which is planned for 12 to 18 months, so some ways to go, but a great first step.
Congratulations! We are delighted to inform you that your application to the Dungeons Company has been accepted.
Another pretty obvious pick is Legend of Keeper's Career of a Dungeon Master, since this is a pixel art turn-based RPG with management elements, where you are the Dungeon Master and must set traps and summon minions to slay the invading heroes.
The slightest management error could cost you your career.
RPG progression for the Dungeon Masters and a meta management layer add to the package, and the current state of early access is quite fully featured, allowing you to play up to 2 in-game years, with more of everything to be added in the coming months. Another pleasant surprise last month was Singapore-made Gordian Quest, which I have to shout out not only because it is from a local developer, but because it is pretty great as well. This is a roguelite deck builder turn-based RPG where you assemble a party of heroes, unravel curses laid upon the land, and fight against the ultimate evil. Think Darkest Dungeon crossed with Slay the Spire, and as a big fan of both of those games, this really pushed my buttons in the right way. There is positional combat on the grid, where the locations of your characters and enemies affect what skills and attacks they can use. Characters can get XP, level up, get skill points and so on, with equipment and shop options in town as well. Only the first of 4 acts is available, with 6 out of 20 plus characters currently in the game. But given the popularity of the deck building roguelite, I certainly hope that more developers will incorporate that into other genres such as what this game did. I've mentioned developer Red Codex recently when talking about games like Final Fantasy Tactics with their entry Void Spire Tactics from 2015, and may I present their latest in Horizon's Gate. In a similar vein, this is a pixel art turn-based tactics RPG, but with more of an open world slant. Play as an explorer, trader or privateer, and sail the high seas, battling foes on land and at sea. This is the best and most polished tactics game from this developer to date, and given how good the previous entries were, this one should be up there among the greats in the indie game turn-based tactics genre. Unique fantasy setting without orcs or goblins makes this stand out, but one for fans of the genre. As a big fan of action roguelites, Curse of the Dead Gods intrigued me with its presentation, since this has you delving into an accursed temple in search of wealth, power, and immortality. Super stylish visually, and it controls and plays extremely well. Light and darkness is a huge factor here, since your torch is the main light source where horrible enemies lurk in the shadows. There are blessings to unlock, which stay that way even if you die, but of course, there's no escape even in death, so rise up to fight again. The titular curses are modifiers that affect each run, adding another layer of depth to the procedural generation, and looks like it will be my next roguelite addiction. The Kingdom Management title, yes, your grace, has you playing as the king, and as the saying goes, heavy as the head that wears the crown. Make critical decisions in managing your kingdom's resources, your relationships with your family, as well as other lords and nobles, as an invading force looms over this all. Tough decisions balanced with great writing and a wonderful look makes this a must-play. Mega Man Battle Network meets Slay the Spire is how one step from Eden has been described, and that, to be fair, is not too far off. A grid-based action roguelite deck builder, this has been one of the most challenging games that I've ever played, mainly due to the speed of the game, which is really extremely fast. There are secrets, hidden systems, and that familiar deck building aspect, which has you selecting, upgrading, and discarding cards to be the most efficient damage dealer possible. On top of pure damage attacks like a lightning bolt or a kinetic wave, you can break the tiles, construct turrets and blockades, set things on fire, throw knives and more. So challenging but so good, taking the #1 spot. If you enjoyed the video, why not share it with a friend? Check out even more great indie gaming videos, and in this current climate, stay safe and I will see you after the jump.